What's good? What up with it? What it do? You're Wagwan, Que Paso, Que Tal, Que Ondas, however you say it from wherever you're from. Thank you again for being with us. I'm one half of the co-hosting team, Steve, and this beautiful lady over here is who?
I'm Liz.
And this is
Marriage for Grown Folks.
We're happy to be back with you guys. We took a couple of days off, but we're back. Mm-hmm. All right, we're back. Trying to get routinized. But no, we're just glad to be back. Once again, hit that like button, subscribe, leave us a comment, find us on social media, Facebook, TikTok, IG, Marriage for Grown Folks. All right, we'll be there. Drop us a line. All right, say something positive. Mm-hmm. All right. So, how you doing today?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm all right. I like the vest. I like the vest.
Thank you.
It's pretty dope. The
Thanks.
jean, yeah, pretty fly. Pretty fly. Yeah, it goes with your tan skin. Mm. Yeah.
I love being tanned.
Super bronze.
Yes.
Who says summer's over, right?
No, it's not over, and I plan to get in our backyard again with a beach towel.
She'd be in the back with a beach towel laid all the way out, straight up and down. I ain't mad at you.
Mm-hmm. Who needs to get to the beach?
Bring the beach to you.
Right.
Bring the beach to you.
We got some sea breezes in our area.
Real talk. No, I'm happy to be here. Excited. I think we're starting to find a rhythm, which is funny because now there's no anxiety when we sit down and the microphone is on and the cameras are rolling. I just feel like we're just rolling. We're having a real conversation. Yeah. So I think that's a cool thing. What are we, 22 or 23 episodes in?
Something
which
like
is
that.
Really like 27, 28, if we want to count our practice rounds that we were doing out of the house.
Right.
I think we've come a long way.
I think so too. So it was really interesting. I'll give you this small anecdote. Was at the hairdresser yesterday, and I happened to mention like,
looking good, looking good.
Thank you. And I was like, hey, like we have a podcast, blah blah blah. Oh, he's like, put it on.
Yeah.
So he's like, well, which one should we listen to? Or which one should we watch? And I was like, I have no idea. Like, pick whichever you want. Mm-hmm. And it happened to be our divorce episode, which happened. My divorce? Yeah. Mm-hmm. But that, when you look at the date on YouTube, it was like from 2 months ago.
Okay.
And so we watched a little bit of it, and he starts to kind of read me. Mm-hmm. My mannerisms, how I'm positioned with you, how we're talking. He's like, let's fast forward, or let's go to the actual page and let's find a newer one and he picked the newest one. Mm-hmm. And so I think the newest one was like forgiveness or something like that. It might not be the newest one, but anyway, so we go to that episode and he's like, whoa, way different. And he starts to talk about like my positioning, how what I'm saying, like even my volume and just different things like that. And I was like, oh wow, that's really interesting. I hadn't noticed that. So
how about that?
Yeah. Anyway.
How about that? Feedback is good.
It is good. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's have a little fun.
Yeah. Sorry, that's that was like a hard,
so what?
Not quite able to segue.
No, it was a great segue. I went void on you for a second because my stomach said,
oh, yeah. I didn't even hear it.
Yeah. As I say all the time, I'm hungry.
Are you?
I'm hungry.
Okay.
Yeah. I was getting that run-in today. Yeah. So I do a lap, then calisthenics, and then the final lap, calisthenics again. You know what I mean? And
a lap around the gym?
No, I did the View Park track.
The track. Oh, okay, okay.
Did the track. Mm-hmm. It's like a half a mile. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I ain't training for the Olympics no more. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Just trying to get my cardio up, burn some calories, take care of my body. So today is the road work day. That was considered road work.
Okay.
Yeah.
You'll swim, you'll bike.
That's right. Love it. We biked last night.
I didn't, but you did.
Yeah. That's right. You were getting your hair done.
Let's get my hair done.
You were getting your hair done, so we missed you.
It's okay.
It's all right. Okay.
Tomorrow. Tonight maybe.
Yeah, we got karate tonight. We got martial arts tonight.
Oh, okay.
So we'll see.
You're right.
All right. So what you got?
Temp check.
Temp check. Let's get to it.
Never have I ever.
Never have I ever. Okay, let's have some fun. See what you got.
Okay, perfect. I wanted to make sure I had enough hands.
Okay.
I mean, enough. That was wrong. Enough
You only have two, buddy.
Enough options
Yeah.
to get rid of a certain amount of fingers.
Okay, let's get it.
Okay, because we're going to play Never Have I Ever again.
All right, let's get to it.
We've done this before. We're going to do it again, okay? All right. Put up 5 fingers, please. All right, perfect. All right, number 1. Have you ever trolled someone on socials?
It's not my thing. Yeah, it's not my thing.
I have. Number 2, never have I ever slid into someone's DMs.
What does that mean, actually? I know I sound like an old man, but you mean like to like.
What does it mean to slide into somebody's DMs?
You're trying to get at them. You're trying to get at them, right? You're trying to holler. But
so that finger should just stay up and let's keep it
But
moving.
I'm just saying, they on the radio stations, they use it incorrectly. Anytime you leave a message in somebody's DMs, you're sliding into the DMs. That's what I'm just like.
Oh.
Yeah, was it romantically? No, I've never.
Okay.
I'm married. What are you talking about?
All right. Never have I ever lost a bet.
Are you kidding me? I bet on myself all the time. I'd be losing. Always bet on myself, bro.
Never have I ever gone skinny dipping.
That's wild.
You've gone...
Oh, no, sorry. Stupid. That's wild.
No. I mean, let's
I did it wrong. I did it like I've never.
Oh, no, never? Okay.
Yeah, I can't swim.
We haven't
Till last week, 2 weeks ago. Imagine being dead, floating up dead, naked. We found Steve. He was cheeks naked.
Never have I ever rode a motorcycle.
Okay.
Never have I ever stolen anything.
Yeah.
Never have I ever played hooky.
Man.
Never have I ever gotten lost alone in a foreign country. Never have I ever clogged someone else's toilet.
It is what it is. Yo, I'm sorry. My bad. It was me. You were liar. He was like, it was me. Absolutely. Yeah, homie's stomach is what it is.
You don't have any fingers left, huh?
I have no fingers. That's funny. Did you have one left?
I had 2.
Oh, you had 2?
I had 2, but...
keep going then if you got to do to get rid of them.
Okay. Never have I ever fought in public. I have. And never have I ever regifted a gift.
Oh, wow. Fighting in public and regifting. That's interesting.
Yes.
Right? I mean, is there any other way to fight?
I
Right?
mean,
Is there
you can
any
fight
other way
at
to
home.
fight?
You can fight at home.
No, I'm joking, but it seems like people only fight because there is eyes on your situation. And then when you're fighting alone, that means you're really upset because you don't need to know, you don't need anybody's feedback. You don't need anybody to see it. You just fighting. I've been there before. I got cousins. We're men. We fight. You know, as boys, we fight. And then we going about our business. Yeah, man.
It wasn't my mess.
It wasn't your mess?
I was just the wrong person
You
at
still
the wrong
here?
time.
You still here to talk about it? Still here to talk about it?
Never have
Tell
I
the
ever.
story. Never have I ever. That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, you always win with that one. You do a fantastic job. I got to give it to you.
Thank you. I'm really curious about whose toilet you clogged though.
We don't have to talk
about
it's
it.
One. There's been victims out there, man. It's more than just one. You kidding me? That's funny. That is funny.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So what are you reading right now?
I'm not reading anything. And I keep telling you that because I haven't found a new book yet. I finished The Healing Culture by Larry Love. And it's September, and we're doing a couple things. You know, I'm working on a website. I'm working on some other things, preparing for the new venture. So I haven't really picked a new book because for me it's an ordeal. I told you this already. It's an ordeal. So I don't like to waste my
There's
time.
a process.
Absolutely. There's certainly a process to me selecting my next read.
Okay.
So that's where I'm at.
Okay.
I got a couple prospects. So we'll see.
What are they?
There's the what's my man Rashad, and it's a finance book. I'm considering reading Rich Dad Poor Dad again.
Okay.
And there's another one that I seen. Can't remember the author, but it's an older book. It's either my socials or I put it in my notes. But there's like 3 prospects. But it's not a new book. There's no new book that I'm looking to get at
Okay.
right now. But yeah, there'll be older books. Because Rich Dad Poor Dad, I think I did an audio book, which means I probably left some things out. When I do audiobooks, I don't get all the nuance. And
Really?
for some reason, I don't get all the nuance. And also, I just hate hearing, I'm like, that ain't the voice that I heard in my head.
Oh.
I struggle with that. That's not the voice I had in my head. So
There are a number of books that I just won't get through because the voice is just not working for me, or the pacing is a little too slow. And you know how you can you can change
that's crazy to me. I'm like
the tempo or the rate. I think that or the speed or whatever it is. So you could do that, or you just, because sometimes people just speak a little bit slower than you had expected. But the other part is sometimes audiobooks have I call it like an orchestra. So it's just too many extra things going on outside of, if we're in the woods, I don't need to hear birds chirping. I want the experience of envisioning things. And so sometimes there's like a whole cast and orchestra, and it's just too much for me. And I will immediately be like, nope, I'll just have to try and read that hardcover. Right. Yeah.
I get you.
So there's that.
What about you? What you reading?
So I'm reading, I actually just finished a book. Typically they're thrillers that I read, but this one was actually a horror.
I'm good.
Book. I didn't know that beforehand.
Read the fine print, shorty.
Well, because I've read the author before, I thought, oh, no big deal. And so I'll read it. Yeah. And then midway through, I was like, wait a second. I might have a dream. Yeah, I might have a dream about this one. So anyway, I will say good. It actually ended up being a very good book once I got past the horror aspect of it. Yeah. Okay. It's called Hidden Pictures. Mm-hmm. It's by Jason Rekulak. 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 Rekulak, I think.
Or Rekulak.
Yeah. Rekulak. I don't know. But he's a pretty good author. Mm-hmm. So this...
Reputable?
I guess.
Right.
I mean, I always try to go on Goodreads and see what the ratings are for certain books. And for him, he has been rated over a 4. So out of 5 stars, all of his books have been over 4. Oh, okay. So I'm like, that's not bad. I mean, that's pretty good.
Highly reputable. Sounds, in my word.
He's just a newer author.
Okay.
So he's not like Whitman. I'm just naming off some of the classics, right? Yeah, he's not. Mark Twain. Yeah. So anyway, the book is actually about a woman who is looking to reshift her life. Mm-hmm. So she's pretty young. I think she's 22, 23. Yeah. She comes into a home to be a live-in nanny, but she's had a rough kind of start of things. She was supposed to go off to Penn. It's set in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. So she was set to go to Penn State on a track scholarship.
PHILA period. Okay.
And something happens that stops that. And so now she's just okay, I got to get my life back in order. Yep, I got to get my life back in order. And so she ends up linking up with a family, becoming a live-in nanny, and the kid starts to show her some signs that there's some stuff going on. Copy. And so she's got to figure out what's going on with the family and whether or not she's safe. And so Hidden Pictures has to do with this what is it called? Like hieroglyphic, like pictures or things that the kid starts to draw.
Okay.
And so it's
Don't
like,
give it all away. You just be giving a whole book.
well, I
away.
mean, it's called hidden pictures, but so there's a whole story within a story that happens.
You got to start saying spoiler alert because you be giving
That's
a
not a
whole...
spoiler. Hidden pictures.
For me,
it's in the title.
You gave the
I didn't. There's a bunch of red herrings, so there's a lot of things that, and it's not that, and whatever. But it was a good book. Really good book.
Okay. You read a horror story and you lived to tell the story because that is not your thing.
It is not my thing. This
Or
is the
our
second.
thing.
This is the second horror story that I read. Like I said, I probably wouldn't have read it if I had noticed that it was horror and not thriller. But
Yeah, but it opens the door now because now you're thinking maybe I can get away with
no,
dibble and dabbling in this genre.
no, I'm good.
Straight.
The first one was like a year and a half ago, and I was just like, yeah, so never again. Never again.
I'm straight.
Yeah.
Won't do that again.
Yeah.
I get it.
Anywho.
I get it. What you reading? I mean, duh.
What am I
What are you
listening
listening
to?
to? What's in your earlobes?
I was listening to Blueprint,
Okay.
the original. Yeah.
Well, the original would actually be KRS-One.
Fine.
But I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
You always have to do that, but okay. let me take it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Jay-Z's Blueprint.
Okay.
Not two.
Not two. I was in England when two came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
College
ROC.
when.
Yeah. Yep. Got it. As you know, as you heard earlier, I've been deep diving into Andre 3000's just verses. I think I've come to accept the fact that we're not going to get a solo project.
Only flutes, baby.
I'm all set with the flutes. I'm not knocking the flutes. Go ahead and do your flutes. You know what I mean? I'm straight. I'm not interested.
Okay.
And simply because with this ability with words, we're talking about literature and it goes into what we're listening to. With this ability to do what he can do with words, the same amount of words that he has, I have access to. I can't do that. So I think it's beautiful to be able to lay it over music, hip hop specifically, and to be able to tell stories in 2 minutes or even 45 seconds. Because if you're sharing a song with someone, you probably only got about a minute, 45 seconds. And I just think that he's just so adept at his use of the vocabulary and all of the literary devices that I can't name to you right now. But it's a gift. And there's so many of them out there that can do that I just get caught up in that. And for some reason, I don't even know what sent me down the rabbit hole. I was listening to I think it was like a Goody Mob song featuring Outkast, and he had a verse that was like, "What are you doing? I missed this. Like, what are you doing out here, bro?" And it's almost like, if I never get a project, he's got enough content out here that I'll be okay with. And, I'd like to nerd out. So today, even though we've all heard it 1,000 times, I could pick any verse, but I had to revisit the one he did with Kanye, Life of the Party, talking about Miss Donda, his mom. And I was just like, I'm hearing more nuggets. I'm getting more golden nuggets that he's hidden inside of his writing. So,
Are we?
Yeah, I'm nerding out for a second.
Oh, we're analyzing.
Oh, we're not even analyzing. I just wanted to just.
Oh, okay.
It's just
You're
crazy.
just gonna recite them. Got it.
Right. So
Okay.
it's the fact that he chose to write it as if it was a letter to someone else's fallen mom or deceased mom is already beautiful. Right. He's probably.
Oh, I
never
remember
met her.
this.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and just so it's a letter to someone's mom who's passed, but he also has lost his mom and father. So he's requesting in so many words that, hey, if you see my mom, tell her this. And I was like, this is so beautiful. Like, it's so beautiful. Hey, Miss Donda, you run into my mother, you run into my mama, please tell her I said say something. You know what I mean? Tell her I said say something. So to me, it's just like he's still not completely healed because you'll never be, as we know now, you never quite heal. You move on, but you don't heal. That person has left an impact on you, and she, that's his mom, and she raised him. And say something, you know what I mean? Say something, meaning, hey, I'm down here, or I'm still here. Just say something.
Give me a nod. Give me
right.
something.
Give me a nod. Give me something. But then he plays around with the idea of how someone might be talking to you as opposed to just verbally talking. You know what I mean? Because imagine hearing someone's voice that you had never, you know what I mean, audibly. That would probably throw you off then. So he goes on and he says, I'm starting to believe ain't no such thing as heaven's trumpets. No after over, this is it done. If there's a heaven, you would think that they'd allow you to speak to your son. You know what I mean? Speaking of heaven is so beautiful, at least you should be able to speak to your son. So then he goes further on, and I was just like, man, this guy is somewhere else talking through someone's mom. But hey, if you run into my mom, tell her this, right? And then he goes on to, he furthers it by saying, maybe she has in the form of a baby's laugh. I heard, maybe she has in the form of a baby's laugh. I heard passing by in a stroller reminding me, hey, keep rolling. In a stroller, rolling. Hey, keep rolling. Mom saying, keep rolling. Incredible to me. I don't know. Maybe she has with a prick of a blade of grass. I've been laying, oh, sorry, I put it all together. Maybe, I don't know, maybe she has with a prick of glass, with a prick of a blade of grass. I've been laying on way too long, got me itchy. Got up and roamed a little more. So you're laying just outside in the grass as you do sometimes, and a prick of just a small piece of grass gets you, get up. You start itching it, and you get up and you keep moving. So keep rolling, keep moving. So he furthers the idea of, hey, son, keep going. Right? So, yeah, I thought it was incredible. And then, he challenges his father, and then forgives them, because they didn't work out. And the way he did that, I was like, this guy is something else. Granting them grace. You know what I mean? Y'all was just young. I couldn't figure it out. All poor kids. You know what I mean? And then I'll leave it alone. Where's it at? Hey, Miss Donda, you see my father. Please ask him why he never married. Always smiled, but was he happy inside? You know what I mean? He's not over it. Stuff that he's asking as he's aging as a man. He's 50 years old almost. You know what I mean? Because I carried my mother's name, did he carry shame with him? I'm sure she did it out of spite. It was her decision at birth. Shoot, she probably was hurt. Ah, poor baby. Two young people with different views, a lot for a young lady. No coincidence, they both passed away from heart conditions. And this is what I didn't catch this before. No coincidence, they both passed away from heart conditions. There's a dissonance at play. Dad and mom do hard division. That's not a book, but that's a book in 2 minutes.
A story.
That's a story.
A novella.
There's a dissonance. They both died of heart conditions. They loved each other, heart. There's a dissonance at play. Dad and mom do hard division. So that was the book that I read.
Okay.
That was the book of Andre 3 Stacks. So sorry, I nerded out. Please forgive me. He's so incredible.
It's his way with words,
Yes.
basically. Like, it's just the way with words. And when people can articulate and are just so eloquent about it and creating these visions for you, and then connecting using rhetoric devices, rhetorical devices in ways that can help you to connect and to help to describe it. It's a gift. It's an absolute gift. And yes, I mean, it's poetry.
Right.
It's poetry.
Right. And which makes it hard for me when people just throw random music at me and say, how did you like that? And I'm like, you have to give me some time, because this is what I'm dueling with, is people who have this gift, and then you just want me to just listen to something. I'm not knocking it, but something that doesn't challenge me. And I don't need to be challenged intellectually every single time music comes, because we want to dance too. But it's really hard for me to just throw something on and be like, this is great, or this is
a nice
okay.
vibe.
Right, because that exists, and I want that. I guess it's a woman who's dated a millionaire, you know what I mean, and she's had, the best of the best. It's hard to go back to ramen noodles after that, right?
Agreed.
Okay. So, sorry about that, geeked out.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about? Wait, do we forget?
Knock it off.
Knock it off.
It's your
Let me
turn.
put my crotchety old man hat on.
Go for it.
As my wife says, she calls me a crotchety old man sometimes. Knock it off. We all can relate to this, all right? Because we gotta keep it moving. I'll keep it quick. It's just grocery etiquette. Grocery store etiquette. All right. Enough is enough. You guys need to knock it off. There's a lot that goes on in the grocery store and a lot of unspoken things, right? Because there's no real rules. You got to purchase something and you got to leave, right? Well, it takes some people time to purchase and they're getting certain things, but there's traffic because there's other humans inhabiting the space. And as you inhabit this space, you would think that people will follow certain rules. They'd have etiquette. They'd care about how they place their carriages, if they're on the phone, what their children are doing while they're grocery shopping, right? Because there's other people there. Well, all of these things have proven in my world don't exist. Straight up and down. People don't care and they need to knock it off. Now, a guy like me, if I'm in a grocery store, let's keep it a buck. I'm probably there to get something real quick. I'm probably supplementing what my wife is doing for dinner. She probably sent me there on a mission, grab this and this. And even if she said this and this, I'm only coming home with this. I will forget one of the two things. Even if it's only two things, I will forget one of the two things. So it's already a task for me.
Okay.
Right?
Fair.
But I am in there for 1, 2, or maybe 3 things, which means that I want to be in and out, right? Well, it becomes extremely difficult because there's so much going on now, right? There's so much happening. You got women or whoever, especially, older
Okay, I want
women.
you to paint the picture, please.
Okay, this is what happens. You're in Chipotle. I'm in there trying to grab something for our son the other night. Remember that?
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
I'm in there to get one thing, right? Just some chicken tenders for my son, supplement our
He doesn't like Chipotle.
right. He don't like Chipotle. Well, we got carriages turned completely to the side. Like, I don't understand. If you have an aisle, how could you turn your carriage all the way to the side as if you're going to do a
To
U-turn?
block the rest of, like,
well,
the
you're
walkway?
blocking. You're blocking the whole alley, the whole aisle. But not only are you blocking the aisle, Miss Older Woman, beautiful lady, she pulls her glasses out, pulls her cell phone out, the biggest font that I've ever seen in my life on a cell phone. I could read her cell phone from like 2 or 3 feet away. Like, I could just read the whole whatever. I'm not clowning. I'm just telling you what I'm looking at. But there was 2 or 3 people behind us, and we have to make a decision. I don't mind interactions. You know this. I'm not going to walk all the way around. So I'm going to say, pardon me, ma'am. But as I say, pardon me, ma'am, her carriage turned to the side. She's putting her glasses on and trying to get to her phone, which has the biggest font of all time. I know that if I say something to her, I'm probably going to have...
You're going to disrupt.
But I decided, hey, I'm not walking all the way around. Pardon me, ma'am, just trying to sneak through. Well, she decided she wanted to have a full conversation with me. Okay. Sneak through. You so thin, you could probably do a cartwheel through the amount of space that you have. She was telling me basically you can get through.
Get by. Don't
right?
say
but the
nothing
people
else
behind
to me.
Wasn't so thin. So I'm like, oh, you going to stop them too and have this conversation about how thin they are? Because shorty behind me ain't that thin. Right?
So it was a line behind
So
you.
there's a line and people looking like, yo, we trying to get by. She never moved her cart. I squeezed by. Yep, I slithered right by her while ending the conversation abruptly. Please forgive me. Then I turn around. So I go to the next aisle. Bang. All right. There's no chicken tenders, hot chicken tenders, but maybe there's someone's, that we can just throw in the oven real quick. The fryer, the air fryer, and we'd be good. So I hit that aisle. Well, in that aisle was a father with 3 kids that were flat out doing gymnastics. I'm talking about full back. Pew, 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 pew. They hitting that sucker. I'm serious. They hitting that sucker.
Everybody?
It's all 3 of them. And they waiting too. It's my turn. Pew, 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 pew. So here I am.
What's Dad doing?
Dad trying to find, he's me. He just trying to find something that somebody sent him in there to get.
Oh,
that his poor wife,
okay.
he just trying to figure it out, man.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Hey, y'all stop it. Hey, y'all knock it off. Hey, just trying to find it. So I understood his pain. So here I am, just trying to go through, hoping that somebody's heels don't hit me in the face, right? Right? Because you can't say something to somebody else's kids, especially your dad, right? So, I dodged that. We just need to knock it off, right? Knock it off. But I dodged that. So over to the next aisle. over to the next aisle. So, well, since we're here, maybe I can grab whatever it is I was looking for. Well, in the other aisle, I can't make this stuff up. It was a whole domestic dispute, an entire domestic dispute that we all felt embarrassed that we was hearing.
What?
It wasn't supposed to go there.
What?
I don't know what the genesis is. You never know. The genesis is always something
What were
deeper.
they arguing about?
I don't know. You could just tell it went into something that it wasn't supposed to be.
Okay.
Her voice, her voice got a little louder. His got a little louder. Next thing you know, he slammed the thing down into the basket, and I'm like, oh, this is the standoff. But there's people in the aisle, right? So we all kind of like, trying to act like we don't see this meltdown happening, right? So I'm just like, oh man,
Crash out.
Man, right? And I'm like, well, I'm definitely not walking through that. So finally, I realized there's no chicken tenders. I'm gonna just go ahead and get out of here, right? Meet you at Chipotle. I think I went to Fat Burger to grab him something. So I said, all right, let me just go ahead and get out of here. But on the way out, I can't make this up. I'm like, yo, this is torture. Knock it off. I'm just trying to get out of here.
And it was a
That's
Saturday.
it. That's it.
Afternoon.
So that's the problem.
Early evening, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, the security guards, they decide that they're going to have a full out conversation like in front of everybody. So, but they all standing boom, boom, boom. 1, 2, 3 towards the exit. Almost like they were kind of looking for someone, but they were just having too much of a good time. They was looking at shorties.
Oh.
They're looking at Tush.
Got it.
Right? But they make, you see this right here, blah, 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 blah. I couldn't even believe how comfortable they were. Like, bro, there's people here.
Yeah.
But not only that, they were 3 big boys. So you can't really scooch by. So I'm like, how can I get these dudes to move? It kind of is. I was like, oh, I can get out of this. I agree with them. Yeah, she is thick, homeboy. And they laughed and they moved and I got through there. So that's what I was going through trying to get out of Ralph's.
You didn't talk about the little boy.
The little boy? Oh, see? Yep. Michael was his name because he had my last name. So that was 4 things, right? This little boy was giving his mom the roughest time. And I didn't even tell you, she had a scooter. So she had disability. So she had the scooter. Nah, buddy. He went from her lap on the ground, ran in front of the thing, jumped in the carriage. She yelling his name. I'm like, this is too much. And this is the good Ralphs, like the nicer Ralphs.
This is the sedity one.
Right. This is the foofy one.
Right.
So I'm like, bro, this is too much for me. I'd rather go to the hood one and have somebody ask me for a couple dollars.
Right.
Knock it off, y'all. Grocery store etiquette. This is too much. People should be able to get in and get out. That's it. That's all I got. That's all I got. You want to retort?
No, I just want you to remember that because you never come with me to the grocery store.
That's why. That is why.
But everybody need to eat.
I'll be right there, rooting you on. Go cook. I might even send you a text and ask for something special.
Knock it off.
I hate to knock it off. That was good. Yeah, grocery store etiquette, y'all. Knock it off. Act right. Act like you
Everybody stay in their lane.
Literally, stay in your lane.
Get in, get out. It's not a social setting. It's not a playground.
Right. We don't need to hear your relationship demise. Get your kids together. Keep
Y'all
them
start
with somebody.
arguing. Go outside.
Outside with
Take
that,
it outside.
bro. God, security guards. Look, fam, like shoot each other a text. Yo, she bad. Do that. Don't stand in front of everyone. 1, 2, 3 of y'all on the clock.
They was almost done.
Right.
They were almost done
You're probably
with the
right.
shift.
It was evening. It was early evening, almost 8 o'clock. So that shift was probably over. You're right.
Not even quite 8 o'clock, but
See?
yeah.
So somebody did overtime.
No, I think it was maybe like 6:30, almost 7.
Crazy, man.
Because we got back to the house around 7. So
Crazy.
yeah,
Crazy.
shifts up 6 o'clock.
Crazy. All right, y'all. Sorry, we're rambling, but we're gonna get to it. But moving on.
Yeah.
You know when it's the worst? Grocery stores are the worst?
When?
Sundays after church.
Oh yeah. No.
That's when you cannot. That's a no-no.
No.
That's a no-no.
Friday
And
nights are good.
Friday nights are good.
Yep.
I wouldn't know.
Yep.
Actually, I would know when I go and get our desserts.
Not even that late.
Okay.
So I'm saying Friday nights, somewhere between 6 and 8.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good time.
Really? Mm-hmm. People have done, they done.
People are either out to dinner.
Yep.
Or they've already ordered their pizzas and they're home. You know, like it's not. Nobody's grocery shopping.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Well, speaking of church, You see how I manipulated the segue?
That's
How to
fine.
manipulate it.
Go for it.
Right? We're talking about religiosity, guys. Religion, faith.
Talking about church.
Talking about, well, I mean, church is a part of faith and religion. You know what I mean? So we'll get to that later because I don't want to, I don't want to ruin it. But we won't, I promise you, this is not a long one for us. We just going to knock some stuff out. We talk about it all the time in our home. And we're just going to talk about it on camera and via these mics.
Okay.
All right? And that's it.
Okay.
Shoot. That's what it is. At some point in your life, no matter what your culture, what your background is, you've been attached or have gone to church, right? Grandma, auntie, uncle, maybe it's a part of your everyday, maybe it's a part of your family tradition, maybe it's a part of your, once again, your culture, it's a part of your routine. For some people, maybe it's not, but I guarantee you all of us have been, I don't want to use the word subjected, that's wrong, that sounds negative. All of us have had encounters with faith, with the church specifically, and we call this one religiosity. I don't know how you spell that. I don't even think it's a real word. I know it's not a real word. But, we wanted to explore.
Okay.
Because we're married. And it's a part of, faith is a big part of who we are. It's central.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Central. So, ma'am, if you don't mind me, if you can take us back to your childhood. Just keep it simple. Just like we in therapy. They always go, let's start at the beginning.
No.
Talk about your encounters or your history.
With church?
Absolutely.
Okay. So we're specifically talking about like going to church.
Boom.
Got it.
Because that seems to be what religion has.
That's the gateway.
That's the gateway.
Okay.
Right?
So both sides, first off, my parents, they didn't do church. That wasn't their thing. We didn't go to church as a family. I don't think I went to church with them until I was an adult, and that was when our daughter was being christened. Like that. I didn't. Yeah. So I didn't grow up in a family with a family who went to church on Sundays or anything like that. I think they both had been grown up. They had both been brought up in church and kind of decided that wasn't what they wanted to do for their family. And so won't say that we didn't grow up with some fear of God. There was some talk sometimes about there being of reverence to God, not Jesus, but God. I didn't learn that until I was older. But yeah, so that was that with my parents. But both of my grandmothers on both sides, my mother and father's side, I had stints of time that I did with them, and we went to church. My grandmother a little less. She felt really scorned by that. No, sorry, my maternal grandmother, so on the black side, my maternal grandmother felt really scorned by the church, especially when she had been diagnosed with cancer. But even before that, like when remember my grandfather passed away when she was young, when I was really young, and so she felt like the church didn't reach out and connect with her enough, and so she talked about that as kind of a stop point for her in going to church. So I do remember that, but I do remember going to church with her before that.
Right.
And then with my grandmother, she worked for the Salvation Army, and so because she worked for the Salvation Army, they had a church in Frog Hollow area, and so we started going with her like regularly. So we would go for Bible study on Wednesdays, and then we would go to church on Sundays with her.
We say we.
We, my cousins,
Okay.
and my cousins. And
First time I ever heard this.
Yeah.
First time I ever heard this. This is one of the reasons I love doing this pod, because I be learning stuff that I never knew, that we would probably never even.
So it had such a huge impact on me. Apparently, I've never talked about it before, but we did. And then we ended up That's how I learned about like church buses or the church van. And church van is picking us up, like because at one point my grandmother stopped bringing us. Like, y'all could go on your own. So she had signed us up to get picked up because we all lived in the house together in different units. But we started enjoying it, and she didn't want that commitment all the time. So the church van would pick us up.
I just trying to give y'all the Lord. I wasn't trying to take every step with you.
This is my Puerto Rican grandmother, so she sounded a little different. But yes. But so then we would get picked up and head over for for like midweek service with the kids and
Yeah.
do different things. And so that's how I got the experience of like,
I never knew that. Was the church in Spanish? Did
No.
they do everything in Spanish?
it was,
English speaking?
they had it was an
Okay.
English service. We spoke English.
Wow.
and-
I thought your only experiences go back to your maternal grandmother.
no,
I had never known that. That's
no.
interesting.
I mean, there were small moments, but
Yeah.
more so was actually on my Puerto Rican side.
Look, man, if you married, do a pod. You start learning stuff about your, do a pod, straight up and down. You want to learn about your spouse, do a pod. Stuff come out you never even know about. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So we rode the church van and all.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Not with her. She had a car.
She like, look, y'all going.
The
y'all
church
home.
van was like, I need y'all out this house. So, yeah. And I
Brilliant.
liked going, so
Brilliant.
I would go too. But yeah.
That's
was our-
interesting. I didn't know. What's funny is that mine is very similar. You know, obviously my father started the church in '93, and you know when I moved with him, I became very, very. We were there, every other day. Tuesday service, Wednesday prayer and Bible band, Thursday choir rehearsal, Friday night service, Saturday Sons of Thunder, Sunday morning Sunday school, then Sunday service, and then don't have a Sunday night service. Yeah, buddy, they was getting to it. Midnight musicals, the whole shebang. But my earliest memories, all jokes aside, my earliest memories are with my grandfather, my paternal grandfather, and my maternal grandfather. But more, my father's father. You know, what I mean, my paternal grandfather, because I would stay the night at his home. So I was going to multiple different churches because they both attended different churches around the city in Reading. So when I would stay the night at his house, I just remember just the process. I'll never forget the smell of the New Nile pomade that he would put on his hair that I still use to this day to lay his hair down. And he was fly. You know my grandfather, he's still fly. 90 some odd years old, he's still fly. And he takes it very serious. And just remember the Sunday mornings and getting up and having cereal, Fruity Pebbles, or whatever the sugary stuff was at the time, Frosted Flakes, honeycombs, whatever. But he would have his socks on, all the way pulled all the way up. You know, his black socks pulled all the way up, whole shebang. He was getting ready. You know what I mean? Getting ready, had his, had not the cap, not the wave cap, but like a cap that would kind of roll. You can roll it down, stocking cap. Not a do-rag. Yep.
Oh, okay.
And it'd be rolled down. He didn't have much hair left, but it was sharp. You know what I mean? But I just remember going to church with them, and it was a whole ordeal, the children's church and all that stuff. That was my memories. On my maternal side, we weren't made to stay for the adult church or older people service. My grandparents were running at the time when I was, my earliest memory, they were running a children's home in Reading. So Sundays, we wanted to get up there because they had everything popping. You know what I mean? Racquetball, basketball, video game room, food, the whole shebang. We wanted to get up there. So my cousins, the rule was if you didn't go to Sunday school, you couldn't go to the chili home. So I would go to Sunday school, right? So I'd go to Sunday school, walk right, it was directly across from the house. Like walk literally across the street, walk up them steps, and into the church, take a right, go downstairs into the children's, part. But that's what I remember.
So it was incentivized to go to church.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's what I remember too. It's funny, our grandparents. Isn't that funny? How your grandparents play such a major role in that piece
They're
of...
like, they raising heathens. I had to send them to church.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Well, next question, just to move it along.
Mm-hmm.
As you aged, did you still attend, and what did the church appear to be to you in your formative years?
So when I was younger, I'm just going to reference that to then reference the older experience.
Yep.
So when I was younger, I appreciated having a sense of community with younger groups, and because more of those kids looked a lot more like me. Right. So I'm not talking like biracial. I'm just saying there were more black and brown kids. Remember, I went to school with white kids. So it was nice to be in a space with a community of kids that looked like me.
Got it.
So that was the motivation, I think, when I was younger.
Community.
Yep, the community. And again, I don't have like a horrible childhood experience with like in school or anything like that. But I was always aware that I was not the same as,
Got it.
as the kids at my school. So, and I just mean that because I was just like one of three, maybe,
That's
biracial kids in a school of a sea of white, right?
Yeah.
Or European or whatever. So that's that first perspective. But then when we went to middle school, so our school was K-8. Middle school is when things change because then there's like filler schools that ended up joining that school. So there were more black and brown kids coming in middle school. And so I met someone in middle school, a mutual friend of ours, and she had this idea of church. And she would talk about it because she grew up in church.
Oh, okay.
Yep,
Got it.
in and out, all of the things, right? So she was very much a part of the church world. And so now the allure is like, there are boys there.
Right. It's community. You said
it's a different type of community.
But it's a community.
Right? And at that point, I had already been, dare I say, turned out because summer camp had happened. And now I knew I was cute. I never knew I was cute before. So now I'm going to church, but it's black church. So a predominantly black church. And I'm in there and I'm the cute friend. So that creates a whole
another allure.
Yes, for me. And so I will tell you, I always thought it was too long.
Okay.
I always thought like service was way too long and a little too loud.
Okay.
I remember headaches afterwards. Like, dang, my head hurt. Why does my head hurt every time? Yeah, because it went for 5 and 6 hours and you haven't eaten and it was loud because they preach forever, but they sang for a long time too. So those were some of the things that I saw that was very different. So let me also name, we went to Salvation Army Church, which was more of like a hybrid. It wasn't Catholic, it was non-denominational, but they had the songbooks.
Oh yeah, the hymnals.
Okay, yep. So
yeah,
you could just go ahead on to number 23 and you could see the words. The choir was not wonderful. It was just people, volunteers, but and so going into now this black church, this black setting, and they're having like musicals and they're doing all these, like there was so much musicality. And so that was an allure, but also there were all these kids, lots of kids.
Yep.
Lots of opportunity to not be home. There was a lot of different things that, that were just happening. So it felt very different from the experience that I had with my grandmother.
This is so good to me. I'm sorry. I'm not saying nothing. It's just, I've never heard these stories and these anecdotes.
Because I don't think we've ever we talk about this like so distinctly
but I believe
explicitly.
Because my family, my patriarchal side is rooted as a pastor and a bishop. Is rooted, so it feels like that side or that piece is dominated by me in the relationship.
Oh, absolutely.
But the truth is, this is way more interesting. No, because what you're speaking of is the person who has not been submerged in the culture.
I was not a church girl.
You weren't a church girl. You weren't submerged in the culture. You weren't submerged in the you have to do this.
No.
You weren't submerged in the you've got to be a part of this group. You've got to do this, and you've got to be here, and you've got to wear this.
No.
No. Which takes me to my perspective, right? I'm a grown man, right? And I have a very strong relationship with my Creator. And I'm a Jesus freak, and I don't run around that. I don't do the generic, universal, run around spiritual thing where you're afraid to say Jesus. I'll leave that alone. There's a lot of y'all out there preaching this universal stuff. That's generic for what are you talking about? Anyway, be specific. But my experience coming from Reading, Pennsylvania to Hartford, Connecticut, which is, if you don't know about Hartford and the musical, just the expression that they have, with there's a lot of musicians that come from Hartford, Connecticut, one of the smallest places on earth and in the country. But this tiny place via church probably produces one of the most talented group of musicians out there.
Okay.
So musicality, as you spoke of, is a big piece of that. And that's a part of the culture. You know what I mean? My family, my uncle, the Powell family, my mother's a monster. My father can sing. You know how it goes. I'm the only non-musician in the family, all jokes aside. But for me, I think it was interesting leaving Reading, coming to Hartford, and being submerged, unlike you, in this culture and seeing the things, the hats, the dresses, at the time, we talking 3-piece suits, you talking double-breasted suits, all different colors. Not quite Detroit. We wasn't Detroit. We weren't doing orange and light blue and top hats and stuff
Not like
that.
out here.
But it was a thing. It was a show. It was a spectacle. It was aesthetically pleasing for some, an opportunity to dress, to put on your best, your literal Sunday's best. The music part, the long-winded preaching, that went on for hours. And then afterwards, you went to eat together 17 deep at Valley's,
And that was fun.
And that was all fun stuff.
That was fun.
You know what I mean? But there's not but. So that was a part of what I was locked in. The conventions.
I never did
the different conventions and the designations, AKA the sets. You got Kojic, you got Baptist, you got Apostolic, you got the African Methodists, you got all type of stuff.
You're speaking French to me right now.
See, I'm telling you.
I've heard of those things, but I don't know the distinction. I don't really know the difference or anything like
now,
that.
Now, they intermingle, of course, because they're Christians, faith, and all of that, but they got ways of doing things. The Apostolics, I remember back in the day, they couldn't wear they couldn't wear like skirts, and they couldn't wear earrings.
Couldn't wear pants?
Pants, sorry. Okay. Couldn't wear pants, couldn't wear earrings.
If you're a female.
Right, if you're a female, a woman. It was all type of different things you couldn't do. I remember going one place where, Seventh-day Adventists is another, Latter-day Saints and all that. It was a lot of designations, sets, cliques, boards, governing boards, and so and such. I'm not, I'm just remembering things that I had never, I'm like, this is a lot. This is a lot going on. This is a whole situation. So that's what it looked like for me, and being a little boy whose father was a minister. So I got to see him grow because that's his world. So my father went from, I went back and forth living with my mother and my father so many times. Every time I came home, his designation had changed. That's who my father is. He rises.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I went from Minister Hodge to, when I came back, it was Elder Hodge. And then it was, then he was doing, I think my pops was the leader of the children's board or something like that, the children's committee. So he was running that. He was in the finance piece because, he was doing, all that stuff.
Bookkeeping.
All that stuff. My pops, if anyone's qualified to do the job that he does as a bishop and a pastor, he's the guy. He knows the front and back of the house, straight up and down. You know what I mean? So I got to see that perspective. And then we turned 13 I turned 13 in 1993, and that's when he felt that the Almighty was calling him to start his own church, which completely flipped everything on its ear. Because here I am going, like you said, there's community. So I got friends, all of us. Everybody was at church on Sundays. So you go from this set of friends and crew to a new set of something where now more eyes are on you. You know what I mean? Because your father's the pastor. So you got to have this way about you. Well, I ain't really changed like that. I've never been a knucklehead, as you know. But I ain't really like that. I didn't really like having the eyes on me. I didn't like...
You didn't like having the eyes on you?
I didn't like having the eyes on me. I didn't like the additional pressure. I was just going through my developmental, milestones just like any other kid, trying to be a basketball player. I liked girls. I wanted to stay fly. I liked hip hop. I wasn't any different. But when your father starts a church, you want to make sure you play the part, or you act the part. So that was different. And the way people looked at my father and my mother and the way they seen our family, that changed.
Can you talk a little? What do you mean?
Well, yeah, in the church world, if you're a pastor's child or if you're the pastor's family, you're the first family, almost like presidential. I'm just saying it because that's a great way to articulate it. And it's like you're the first family, and your mother's called the first lady, and different things are done for you that you don't have to do for yourself, and it's you've got more eyes. There's a different expectation for
Okay.
you,
Okay.
as a son or daughter in that world. You got to play. You're supposed to play a part, and that was different. I can't say that I liked it. Once again, I was in the middle of my development. I'm 13. Voice is dropping. My musical taste is even changing. From the hip hop that I'm listening to. Still love my my contemporary gospel at the time. Commission was still dope to this day. That Commission number 7 album was crazy. All this stuff, but it being submerged and immersed in the culture definitely changed my concept of the relationship with God. Because as I'm developing, you're kind of forced. Put your hands up in church and praise God. Say these things, do these things, speak in tongues, learn the Bible, learn the word, speak, go to these different things. You're like, hey, bro, I'm just trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure it out. This is a lot for me, right? I do love
So this is like 13. You're
this is like 13.
So now you're here.
13, yep. So 13,
Okay.
14, 15. Where,
Okay.
That was like, hey, I'm developing into somebody, and I'm grateful that this is our censor. So I had to go. My father's house. You got to go. But I wasn't necessarily like buying into some of the culture part.
Okay, so then this is good because you and I started dating when you were 15-ish, and I remember you inviting me to church. And so then having that first glimpse or exposure too, because the church was literally right by my house. So it was very close, remember? And
Airport or Ledyard at this point? Ledyard, right? Or Weathersfield Avenue?
No, not Weathersfield Avenue.
Not yet.
On Ledyard Street, I believe. I was like, I don't think it was.
I'm only
around
asking
Airport.
because it gives me it
Oh,
paints
okay.
it.
Yeah,
where,
no. It was the little, on Ledyard.
Ledyard.
So
Off of Airport Road, right?
off of Airport Road, yes. So I remember you inviting me. I remember being really nervous about it because, again, like all I had was that time with that friend, but that had then waned. I wasn't going to church with her anymore. I wasn't going to church, period, at that point. And so then I go, and I remember I wore my eighth grade graduation dress. So it was just like a sundress or something like that. And I'm saying it because I remember I was sitting, and the way the dress was made, there were like these slits. So it was a long dress, but there were slits like to the knee.
Okay.
And I remember this woman not being an usher because she didn't have the usher, like, whatever, the distinction. She didn't have that. And she's like, oh, let me get, because you can't be showing off your cookies. That's what she said to me. And I remember that because I remember being like, I know that she's trying to be funny. I don't even know this woman. I don't know who she is, because you couldn't see some. But that turned me off to church because it was, I think the assumption was, I was dating you because I was there, to visit you.
Yeah.
Or not because you had invited me. So I'm
Right.
sitting with you. And then she had said this thing to me, and I was just like, I never felt that way. And I named the dress that I wore because my parents wouldn't let me wear something that was like inappropriate, especially not for like a graduation. I remember I have to wear something nice. I don't have a whole lot of, whatever. I can still fit it. Thank you. I haven't gained that much weight, right? But for her to say that, and I remember telling my mom when I got home, like, was there something the matter with my dress? And then I was like, let me sit down. And I remember like going through the motions with her, and she was just like, I'm really sorry that, like that you had experienced that. And I appreciated that she apologized on behalf of women, I guess, because, but she also named like his dad's the pastor. Okay, well, let's talk about that. And so she gave me a little perspective. And, my mom's not big on words or anything, but I remember her giving me a little sense of perspective, like that you didn't do anything wrong. And I don't want you to have a bad taste in your mouth about church. But I'm segueing the conversation a little bit, but it was me visiting Grace Worship Center, or Grace Pentecostal at the time. And I don't know who the woman is. I don't remember her. she wasn't one of the like mainstays, I don't believe. But just that.
I'm gonna ask enough questions offline so I find out who it is. Too.
I don't know. Yeah,
no, I'm gonna
I know. Oh, okay, okay. But anyway, so I just remember like always having a good perspective of church, or even my own perspective of church. Like even whatever my it didn't really matter what my intention was when I was going.
Right.
But I never had it like, oh, I've been shunned. Because there are certain things like in church world that are already established. And respectfully, like church girls are not always the most.
Yep. Fill in the blank.
Right. Like you fill in the blank. And so, and I'm like, wait a second, I'm a wholesome girl. You know, like, yeah, I might wear my shorts too short, but like I get good grades.
He rocking with me. He not rocking with them.
Like, and so to have that was just like, my cookies are showing. What does that even mean? Like, and so anyway, I say that to say because it did start to shape me. And like, I don't know if I want to come back to your church. I like you. I don't think I said any of that to you, but then fast forward years later and we're now married and we're here at this church, and there were certain things that you brought up as a 13-year-old, right? That you were just like, I don't show up this certain way. And I felt very rebellious to those things, and I believe part of it is because of the experience that I had early on, where I was just like, I had a long dress on. What are you even talking about? You know, but just knowing that you're being watched, just knowing that your affiliation with, who is it that you've come to church with? Who are you visiting? I know you're visiting the church, but who did you come with? Like all of those things matter in this community. And so that really did create or shape how I experienced church for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you did a lot of the you put structure to it, so I don't have to put structure to it. But you know, the culture piece of it. Man, that was very descriptive. And as you said it, I can smell the smells and I can see the colors. That's interesting. Your story isn't much different from many others.
I'm sure.
From many others. And, you know, no matter how we slice it, we're not here to beat up on church. You know what I mean? We want to tackle our experiences because we know we ain't the only ones out there that experience it. Thus, the podcast. You know what I mean? But moving forward, I talked to you about the culture that I didn't quite agree with. I thought there was a lot going on. I'm going to move it a little further. I'll take the ball further.
Go ahead.
So now I'm leaving to go off to college. I'm no longer in school like that. And I do want to say I appreciate my father for kind of like laying off. He wasn't as heavy-handed, you know, regarding attending. Once I became really immersed and really engulfed in hooping, you know what I mean, and training and stuff like that, he knew, because he's an ex-hooper, you know what I mean? So as an ex-hooper, he knew, like, he got to go to practice. He got to go to games. He's got to be to train. And he didn't stop me from that. You know what I mean? He really didn't stop me. There was a lot of church happening, you know what I mean? But nonetheless, I was sharp enough to also to find ways around that stuff. Or find, you know what I mean? Like, this is when I got to go. I got to go in the morning. I got to go in the afternoon. Or I got to go until he comes and gets me, you know, from the park. But either way, I got what I needed. But as I got older and went off to school, I remember being in South Carolina. I'll never forget this. Going to South Carolina and the van, the church van, it came on campus because we lived in Charleston. So the church van would come and they were heading down to the church, you know, that was shot up recently in recent years.
Oh, wow.
Where the shooter went in there. That's the shuttle.
The church that.
Yeah. So the shuttle brought us to that church downtown Charleston. I think I might have went one time. But I remember saying to myself, am I going because I've been going, routinized, or am I going because I want to be there? And once I decided I'm going because I've been going, I'm like, no, I think I have a right after going, this in my brain, this is what my brain said, after going for the past 15 years or 20 years, I can take a couple Sundays off. I'll be good. So I didn't go when I was in South Carolina. Went a couple times and that was it. And, you know, while I was there, I noticed that it was the same culture, you know what I mean? But just more country because it's South Carolina. A little more country, a little more tradition or a different type of tradition. And I'm like, oh, this isn't much different, you know what I mean? You know, 3.5, 4 hours. 3.5, 4 hours. A lot of screaming and hollering, which you and I don't really subscribe to. If that's your thing, that's your thing. We ain't knocking it. Just I don't want to be screamed at no more. Maybe I'm the generation that like I don't need to be screamed at. Teach me. Big hats, the fanfare, the aesthetic, and that was interesting to me. And I kind of chill. But when I would go home, I would still return. And every time that I returned home as a college kid, and I noticed that I was just less interested. It was more of the routine.
Of the routine. In the routine. Mm-hmm.
Yep, I was less interested. Not that I heard it all, but it was like, no, I just was less interested in being there because I had been made to go, but I also was developing in a way that didn't suggest that that's where I was, to be there 3-4 times a week. So I was going out of respect for the patriarch that was my father. You know what I mean? But I'm going to say this, and you and I have had this conversation too, and maybe I've never said it, but I'll say it now. When your pops or your parents are the pastors or the overseers of said church, I now know, looking backwards and forwards at the same time, that I was an entrepreneurial-minded person. I was a business-minded kid. I was cutting hair early. I was always doing something. And it felt like, oh, this is my father's business. And I started to judge it. And also because my pops was unable to be there, especially, I was a basketball player, he didn't see any of my games. He just couldn't do it, whether that was, high school, college, or professional. He's seen very few games, right? And he knew I was tough. So he's seen very few games. And I'm not knocking it. I'm fine. I passed it. We've had our conversations. Mm-hmm. He was doing what God...
Truth is
truth. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But what I noticed is that I started to resent the church. And I just thought for the amount of hours that he was sacrificing for what we had, I thought we could have had more. This is just where my brain was at 21, 22, 23.
It's fine. Nobody's
right?
judging.
I thought for the pain, the time, the phone calls in the middle of the night, the funerals, the counseling, all of these things. I said, what's coming home and what we're losing and what we're missing out on doesn't match. The math ain't mathing. So I started to resent it. And I think that's when I started my true relationship with God. Because now it's like I've been churched. I've been culturized. I've been, enthralled in singing in the choir and going 2-3 times a week and holding the offering basket and going to these musicals the way we was doing when we was younger, all these different things. But do I know God? Do I have a relationship with the Father, the Creator, the Almighty? And when I got overseas, that's when I began my journey with God and not the church. There's a picture that maybe we can thread into this where it's my bed in England. Remember my bed in England?
I do.
And there's a Bible with a pen in the Bible. I don't even remember it anymore, but obviously I was reading my word. I was reading my sword, as me and my son call it, the sword, right? So I was familiarizing myself with this book and deciding where I was going to go with it. And that was interesting. Wasn't going to church at all, but I was reading the Bible and starting to have an understanding of how the world works and how the connectivity and all of that stuff. So that's my relationship, how my relationship built after the church. Now, obviously, we'll talk more. We obviously have a church home. We can talk about that. We have a church home later. We have a church home, and our kids go to faith-based schools and Christian faith schools, not the umbrella. Like, they are really at schools that subscribe to how we believe, right? But it was very, very interesting to see, and I'll say it just for the sake of saying it, that I learned and subscribed more to God once I left the church, so to speak. Once I left church the way I knew it, if
Same.
that makes sense.
Same. So, not the same, because my upbringing was way different from yours. So I was getting little bits here and there for, like I said, stints of time. And then I would visit whenever you asked or whatever. But I remember 18-ish. Okay, maybe a little bit before that, I started to come to church
Oh, you
more
were,
often
you were
because we had
a
become
regular.
part of,
Yeah.
because we had become, or I had become part of like the teen group that
Yeah.
was, you know,
We was
there. And
deep.
so we did, and it was deep. It was a huge, we did things outside of church. Again, it was another sense of community for me. And I loved that there was this commonality because we were all like being led by the same, youth minister. And so we were learning certain things together and then putting it into practice in like real life. And so those things felt good. I do remember that. And then we were getting ready to go off to college. You ended up leaving. I ended up staying in Connecticut to go to UConn. But I realized like I needed stronger foundation. And so that's when I started to tap in on my own. So it was
so
like,
you got one person kind of
straying away while the other one is getting more rooted. And so I started to go to church because I didn't want the distraction of you. Remember, I had said 15 years old, 16, whenever you invited me, that's when I went. That was the pull. That had been the pull. Allure. Boys.
Yeah.
Boys are cute. They're there. Let me
Yeah.
go. And so then 18, now I'm trying to figure out life. Just like most 18-year-olds, having a really kind of weird time with parents, feeling like an adult, going to college, being off, like in that world. But I recognized that I wanted to have some sort of foundation I wanted it to be centered around church. And so, and I'm not going to say religion, I'm saying church, like that
This is good. Yeah.
that community, right? And so I would go to service on my own, and it felt good because it didn't feel stifled by like, who's looking at him, as in you, I'm actually listening to the word. I'm actually like, oh, let me go back and read that scripture. I was doing things that I had never done.
I'm telling you, never knew. This is
Yeah.
all news to me, like real rap.
And it felt like I was getting to like enjoy my pastor and not your dad,
Yeah.
because there was this nervousness. There was kind of this block because, he was your dad. He's your father. And I'm trying to, like impress in some ways. I want him to think I'm a good kid, not, I don't want him to think I'm fast. I don't want him to think, I like your son, but I actually want to learn about God. I mean, now that's my dad.
Them church girls was in third gear. Talking about speed, them chicks was in third gear.
What does that mean exactly?
You said fast.
Oh, yeah.
Third gear, you're moving.
Yeah. But I didn't want him to think that I was fast.
Yeah.
I'm not even associating myself with that because, again, I didn't grow up in church. So anyway, having to establish that and then seeing him as my pastor. And so we would have woes and stuff, relational, situations. And I'm like, well, I can't really talk to my dad about that.
Right.
But can I talk to my pastor? Okay, I'm gonna call him.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna set something up. But it was I never abused that. I wasn't one of those.
Yeah.
I don't know who you talk about specifically, or if you're talking specifically about anybody. But I just didn't like tap in with him like that. But I did see
That
him
was your pastor.
as my pastor. Yes.
Yeah.
So there was that, and then it waned a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I started partying a lot more, and
Right.
you
Right.
kind of get away from it, but then get back, and it's just kind of that back and forth thing. And then I will say, like I said, we got married, and I started to feel
okay.
churchy.
So I'm glad you took it there. That's a perfect segue.
okay.
We got to land this plane, but it's so good.
Yeah.
This is so good. You know what I mean? But when we got married, that's when I was like, I'm not feeling this.
We would get to church
Yeah,
late.
we was super late. That was our rebelliousness. We were subconsciously rebelling. You know what I mean? Because we were adults.
Like, service is so long.
Yeah,
we get 2 days of a weekend.
Right.
And, yeah.
Right. We were working multiple jobs. You know what I mean? Sunday, you right. It was like, hey, fam, like, we here till 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 1:30. Like, what's going on? You know, we trying to enjoy our few days off, all those different things. But it also for me, I don't know about for you, is I became super strained and distant from the people that were at my father's church, because at this point, I'm knowing you less and less. You know what I mean? As I get older, now I don't know I don't know these new people, because there's always changeover. There's always additions and subtractions.
Right.
So now this stuff is happening. He's ascending and also becoming a fantastic orator. You know what I mean? So now I'm saying to myself, okay, now I'm really conflicted, because if I go to another church, it's going to feel, it'll be a big deal, right? But also, I've been to other churches and they're not nice like him, you know, oratorically speaking. Pops has a way about him. He's well read, you know what I mean, well spoken, well groomed, and he can put things together, stories and anecdotes, but also teach you while also inspiring. And that's hard to do. So now I'm attached to the man. But this is also my pops. And I'm a young man trying to figure myself out. Even though I'm married now, I'm still trying to figure out, you know, it's still early. Trying to figure this stuff out. And then I was just like, y'all I don't even really, we were just doing it. I felt like we were going just for the sake of going. You know what I mean? Attendance record. Check.
Done.
We were here. Present.
Meet us for dinner after.
Yeah, right? Little did we know that people were kind of looking up to us, which is funny. We didn't know that at the time people were looking up to us. I mean, we weren't wild. We weren't crazy. You know what I mean? We worked good jobs. We took care of each other. We didn't cheat on each other. We had nice cars, looked good, smelled good. Ain't had no kids quite yet. So, you know, we didn't realize people were looking up to us. So we probably, you know, our presence was probably felt. And when our presence wasn't there, it was probably felt as well. But something else happened going a little further down the line. We moved. And we moved. Now we had to grapple.
Oh, like now we're here?
Yeah, now we're here.
Oh, okay.
We had to grapple with navigating what our faith and church is going to be now. We grown, for real, grown. And we wanted
out here alone.
Yeah, and we wanted it to be a part of our lives. We did not want, God was still center, but we had to attach to a church, right? Community, connection. You know what I mean? You want to be fed, right? So I remember us going to multiple churches and, you know, and trying to figure stuff out. And I remember one time we were connected, and the pastor at the time was so good. We were like, yo, we're only here for him. That ain't the way it's supposed to be.
You talking about church?
Yeah. But we also found out that, they're a little more liberated. They be getting out of church at 11:30, 12 o'clock. Cool. Y'all don't do 5-hour church and then come back to do another 3 hours. Got it. So
choir's not going to be amazing.
Right. The choir may not be amazing, but that's going to work out for us.
Right.
So we were cool with that. You know what I mean? And then, you know, as time went on, we started realizing that our needs were changing, right? Now we got children. We got to make sure they're taken care of, right? And this is LA. Who wants to sit in traffic to get to church and get home from church? So now you're navigating all of these different things. Is interesting. But when I got here and we needed to ascend, in all ways, not just emotional, spiritual, but like financial, we were trying to ascend. That's when my true relationship with God was cemented.
Correct. Same.
That's when I was like, okay,
Yep.
I generally, wholeheartedly need this connection. There's not enough books. I got a wife, so there's not enough wifing and things that she can give me to sustain me. There isn't enough of content or whatever stimuli or what extrinsics. There's not enough extrinsics to get me where I gotta go. The only place to get it is up there. So I gotta go get it. And that's when I started fasting and praying and attending more often and diving into the word, or the sword as me and my son call it, and learning the freedom and liberty in being a Christian, and that it was not rooted solely in being at a church. It wasn't rooted solely in your designation, Baptist, Kojic, whatever it is. I said, it's not rooted in the hat you have on. Got it. It's not based specifically on how often you go or what departments you're the head of. Got it. This is about you and your personal relationship. Where are you? And I said, got it. It's not about just the gospel choirs that you listening to, and if you play for a church. And I'm like, so back in the day, I wasn't tripping. My inkling was that this is more than just what I thought it was, and I was always correct. So not knocking anyone, but I realized that the relationship with your creator was a personal one, rooted in what you need and what you can provide. It goes both ways. And as you gain more respect and more knowledge about your faith and your faith walk, it affects your daily life and your family and your relationships. And now I've got full footing now at 45, feeling like, oh, I could actually teach somebody else. And that's how I live my life, through my purpose and through my gifts, so people can see what I believe in, how I believe, my family. So that's interesting. So
Yeah.
where you at with it?
Similar. I would say very similar because, like I said, I think oftentimes like people look to God as like the last resort.
Mm-hmm.
That's not judgment or anything like that, but just like, I don't have the money. I don't have the people. I don't have the resources that I need. And so, okay, you know what? Let me get on my knees and pray, and we're asking for something. And that's
like
a whole nother.
Like he's Santa Claus, right?
Yep. And respectfully, I think some of that was how I responded or I reacted when we moved to LA, because we were on an island on our own, and things and resources tapped out pretty quickly, right?
Yep.
And it was like, oh shoot, life is
and no
real.
network, no
real village, it was just you and I and our child. And so we were always looking for a church home, but this kind of sped up the process. Definitely. And so we started to look at different churches. Do you remember going different places and going like, none of this feels familiar, like none of this. And then we even drove, because we were in the valley, so we were like, okay, let's drive the 10 or the 110
ended up in Compton.
And ended up somewhere, and we're like, we're just gonna go to a black church because we just need to feel something like familiar, and it didn't work out for us. We just weren't finding the right location. It was nothing was fitting. And then we were at we were at the park, because we spent a lot of time at the park. And then someone had suggested that one that you're talking about. And we found it was kind of like a hybrid of...
right. It was, you said that perfectly.
Right?
It was a hybrid of like ideologies, thoughts, and I was like, oh, this is interesting.
And it was organized, and it was like concise, not service. That's not what I'm saying. It wasn't like, okay, but they really adhered to the times.
Bang.
And children's church, she could go into a room. We knew she was going to be there. She came out smiling. She came out talking about things.
Came out with a snack.
Yep, and a snack. Sometimes something for us. Like it was just very nicely wrapped in a bow. Mm-hmm. And then they ended up bringing in a pastor, a man of color.
He was a dynamo.
He was
a dynamo, and that was the problem.
I mean, it ended up being the problem, because I remember when he made the announcement that he was leaving, and I was like, oh my goodness, I've never cried about a pastor before.
Right.
And I cried because I was just like, now the search has to begin all over again. I mean, we could be here, but the truth is, like, I'm not going to be fed the way because they were sharing their co-pastor role, and the other pastor, he was a teacher. You could tell he had been a teacher, and he had been doing this for a long time, but he just didn't feed me like this other guy was feeding me in particular. And so it was a struggle. That was a real struggle. And then we had to find, we ended up finding somewhere that we went. And
it worked for the time that it worked.
It worked for some years. Mm-hmm. I mean, it did work for some years. And then things shifted, like sometimes they do. Again, the pastor, we're leaning to who it is that's feeding us. Mm-hmm. And then he left.
Yeah.
I guess. And then we found like the demo was just not for us anymore. We had aged out of it. We had aged out of the demo because now our struggle, it was a different struggle.
Yeah.
As one of the things that were anchoring us respectfully to like keep showing up. Mm-hmm. When you ascend or when you're growing in spaces, you need to be tapping in and having conversation around things that feel good or resonate
Absolutely.
for you. And so that wasn't happening anymore. They were talking about marriage and they weren't talking
They're
about
talking about
marriage.
their business.
They were talking about dating. They were talking about, and we're like, that's not really us. And this is uncomfortable. We have our
got our
kids
kid
here.
with us, right.
Like this is just not a good fit for us. So, so now we're in a new space and we're adjusting respectfully. Like, we think that the church is an amazing establishment. Not totally sure that it's the best fit for me. I'm going to just speak for me. I don't always feel totally fed, but I do feel like I need this praise and worship. They have some really great community groups or groups that I can like tap into. So let me explore that. And my kids love this. They love it. And so this is important because this establishment is not just for me and my growth. It is. I am important. But there are 3 other people in this family that and that's how I have to look at it. And so anyway, I think as we're transitioning and we're trying to just learn different ways to get what we need, I'm having to lean more to just my own Bible study, my own reading of the word, my own like connection, without losing the sense of fellowship or community.
Right. I think all of this is proof positive that it was all, this is the same way you come in naked and crying, you know what I mean? You come in this world alone, you die alone, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, your connection with your creator, with the creator, is yours. Yes, there's a Bible here that has a historical document that is spiritually binding, you know what I mean? That's spiritually binding. People be reading it like it's regular, but it's a spiritual document, you big dummies. You know what I mean? I'm being silly. But it's like, it shows you that it's about you and your personal relationship. It is not these emotional outbursts all the time with people running around the church and quote unquote shouting and always talking in tongues and the emotional fanfare, the aesthetic of what you look like, the dresses, the hats, the conventions, the musical representation, the designations, the titles that you gain, your attendance, how much money you can raise if you have it. It ain't about that. And all of our experience that we just shared with you are proof positive that it's about you and your personal relationship. You can't get around it. Your church, I think people are worshiping their church.
Oh.
They're worshiping their designations. They're worshiping the culture, right? I know that to be true based on what I've seen with my eyes. I've been close to the fire. I've been as close to the fire as you can be. You know what I mean? So I think that's a big deal for me, and that's where I stand. And I'm free. You know what I mean? And I'm a free man right now. My kids have been introduced, right? And now it's their walk. My wife has been introduced. Now that's her walk. I've been introduced. Now it's my walk. You know what I mean? It is a representation of what we do. You know what I mean? And I don't subscribe to the rules, the man-made rules made. I subscribe to the power of the document, that spiritual document.
Okay.
That's where I'm at.
I agree with you, but I agree with you.
Yeah.
And I believe cognitive dissonance is a real thing. And so a lot of things can be true at the same time. And so while people may be worshiping their leadership, or they might be really tapped into the culture and all of those things, if that is how you feel like you thrive and you connect, then so be it.
Right.
Like, have it. That's that is yours. That's not necessarily my way or my method of connection. Or I'm not, and maybe I will, but I've never been a churchy person because I didn't grow up in church. So, and I mean, I guess you could become churchy, right? Like at any stage or whatever.
And I think we just unofficially define churchy too. It's the other stuff. I know it sounds funny, but it's the other stuff.
It's just, I think it's the other things. And
I'm not trying to minimize, but I think the verb, right, that we're talking about, churchy, is
that's an adjective.
It's adjective, sorry. the describing.
Right.
It's describing literally the other stuff.
Right.
That has become, it's the tail wagging the dog, I feel. You know what I mean? Not the dog wagging the tail.
I would imagine that someone who considers themselves to be churchy would go into defense, and so that's why I'm naming
Right.
it.
Well, this is if you feel like you need to defend yourself, you're still watching, and that's a good thing. This is a conversation.
Right.
This is a conversation. Right. You know, there's no judgment. This is our true story. We lived it and are living it. Our kids now have a relationship with the Creator. That's cool to me.
Right.
And it's not being jammed down their throat. Pause. We go twice a month. We don't go every Sunday because we like to have our time as a family to just be sometimes. Because Saturday becomes your do stuff day. So Sunday's supposed to be your rest day, but you're not resting if you're always doing something. I think we're covering our bases. I think we are intentionally making efforts to connect, to get what we need, and I think we're doing a good job in that regard.
I think we get to gauge that and
Say it
while
again,
we're
sis.
here. So we get to gauge what
Right. You
like
don't get to
what
gauge
we're
that.
doing. Right. No one else
Right.
gets to gauge that, and then when it's our time, we
Right.
see how
Right.
he feels about us.
Boom. Boom. Boom.
Religiosity.
Religiosity. There it is. I like this one. This was good. I learned a lot about you, bro.
Did you?
Yeah. Missionary deaconess. Yo, so you got anything else before we get out of here? I'm so hungry. But listen, this has been another episode of Marriage for Grown Folks. Once again, I am one half of the co-hosting team, Steve, and this beautiful lady over here was, and will continue to be who?
Your wife, Liz.
That's right. And this is Marriage for Grown Folks. We'll see you guys again. We appreciate you once
Thank
again.
you.
Check us out on social media, on YouTube, Marriage for Grown Folks, TikTok, Facebook,
Subscribe.
IG. Hit the like button, subscribe, leave us a comment. Talk to you guys soon.